Arguably, he played himself into the team with his performance against France and fully merited the selection today. So a couple of great saves that obviously kept the result in our favour.
OK, let's go back to the equaliser, Kieffer Moore's header, which, we talked about whether players play with a false nine, whether they play with a target man. Beautiful delivery in as well.
Yeah, no, I'm happy for Joe Morrell because this is a lovely little ball. And that is what he's there for. We all called for it before the game. We've been calling for it for 2 weeks. Kieffer Moore to start. Sounded like Robert Page always knew he was going to start. Like Mark said, he didn't have much service all game. You see a little bit of movement, good movement.
Zakari just loses him, doesn't he?
Yeah, and to be fair, that's down to the movement and a glancing header. He's still got a bit to do from this position. Yeah. He's got his headband on now. I'm sure he glanced it off that, but good goal for Kieffer. He's had a good season. I'm really pleased for him.
Yeah, definitely. He's been isolated the whole of the game. I think the way that we set up, it was always going to be difficult for him to have an impact on the game. But it was moments like that where we knew he could make the difference, and he has done that.
Yeah, he's 28 years old, a player who kind of was playing non-league and grew up in Cornwall. He was a surf instructor, a lifeguard.
Well, yeah, I think so. I don't know. He just saved a few lives tonight. Yeah, he did. Fair play to him. No, you know what? He's a nice boy.
It's all quite Baywatch, isn't it, with that red kit and everything?
Just needed that thing under his arm. No, but fair play to him. No.
Yeah, and he, in the first half as well, he had a really good chance, didn't he? And he was having to make defensive headers as well, wasn't he, Mark? So,
Yeah, he was getting first contacts in both boxes. Did a great job in terms of his defensive work, and that's an added bonus that you've got your centre forward who's prepared to get back into good positions and clear the lines. Trouble is, you need somebody, an outlet further up at the pitch if he's heading them out of the
having to
own
move
box.
At both ends of the pitch, yeah. And then this substitution we talked about, Garanovic comes on, and Wales obviously at that point, you're back in the game and you're feeling like, right, we've got to go for the win now. Strange, kind of perhaps on with hindsight, strange at that point to make that decision before Garanovic. Obviously, Wales are now able to attack more because Swiss have gone more defensive.
Yeah, definitely. They took Shaqiri off. Although he wasn't having a fantastic game, he was still finding pockets. But that allowed us to get a foothold in the game and begin to build possession, through the midfield. And ultimately, we began having, penetration into their box, which resulted in a set piece and obviously a goal for Kieffer Moore.
OK, let's hear from him. Kieffer Moore is with Carl Roberts.
Kieffer, you've just rescued a point for Wales in the Euros. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's great personally, but I think it's a good start for us. We would have liked to win, but to take a draw from the first game to put us in a good position is everything for us.
You showed real character because for a lot of that game, Switzerland were dominating. Is that going to be a boost for you going into Wednesday?
Yeah, definitely. It's never good going a goal down, but for us to get a goal back and eventually kind of see the game out as such, it's a big positive for us.
You were in the wars today. You cut your eye. I can see that now. You're kind of walking off as if you put a real shift in. How did it feel out there in that heat?
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, but it's what we expect. We're in a hot climate, so we've been here for a week or so now. So it's about we're used to it and it's getting results now.
And how did you enjoy it?
Yeah, of course. Yes. Obviously, this is a big occasion, and I've loved every second of it.
Well, congratulations today. Congratulations on your goal. Thank you.
Cheers.
Well done, mate.
Well, Wales at that point, obviously, when he got his equaliser, desperate to kind of stay in the game after Mbolo just after half-time, had been a threat, hadn't he, in the first half, and seemed to be finding himself in a lot of space, seemed to be kind of able to penetrate the Welsh defence.
Yeah, he was growing in confidence. He had a great game, by the way, fair play to him, but for our centre-halves, he was causing all kinds of issues. We can see the goal here, and we've got Connor Roberts on him, which I think is a mismatch in the first place. He doesn't actually have to do too much, Mbolo, just kind of outstrengths him and then nods it in. We have a bit of an issue. We've had a discussion here in the studio about should there be a man on the post, should there not be. When we take it back, we have Joe Morrell in a position where if he can, he gets to the back stick. Now, what Switzerland did, they put an extra man over, so it was 3v2, which meant that Joe Morrell couldn't get to the back stick. He might clear that. In the first half, what he was doing, he was threatening the short corner, and then when it didn't happen, he'd get to the back stick, and this one, he couldn't do it.
Yeah, definitely. The biggest games in the world are decided by set pieces. So having that situation there where we've not had a guy on the post where we probably should have will be disappointing. But again, it's something to learn from. Technically, tactically setting up correctly into the next games is going to be imperative.
Let's have a little look back at Wales defending from corners then, especially you look back in the first half as well.
So here we go. So what's happened? We've sent Joe Morrell out here, 2v2, which is fine. He then gets himself back in. Kieffer heads this one out, fine, not a problem. He's out again. Now he sees it's not going to be a short corner. He gets himself to the back stick. Great. This one, the Swiss are clever and they send another one, which distracts Joe. Now Joe's too far away from the back stick to retreat and maybe clear this one off the line. So he can't get there, which is just tactically very good from Switzerland. That they have obviously recognised that. Second half, they said, let's push another one in.
And when Rob Page looks back at that, that's the kind of thing as a manager you'll be very frustrated by.
Yeah, I think credit to, albeit we think he got the substitution of Shaqiri incorrect, he's actually, in my view, I think he's highlighted the mismatch with Mbolo and whoever was marking Connor Roberts. So later on, we switched and Joe Allen tried to strengthen up against him. But I think they just recognised that weakness that we had because it's right in the middle of the box and they've got enough quality in terms of delivery to put it right on the number. And that's what they did to isolate.
And for me, there should be a man on the back stick always, because so many goals go in at the back stick. I think we can sacrifice them. We don't need that cat and mouse situation. We can just put someone on the back stick every single corner and he just clears that.
Rest of the tournament, there'll be somebody on the back stick.
I'd hope so. I'd like to see that.
I think it might be,
there was a heart and mouse moment. There were a few, actually. Yeah. Danny Ward will tell us all about those. But there was definitely a moment where you just thought, especially Wales are back in the game, now starting to threaten, having some attack, and then Garanovic comes on. Obviously, now the Swiss are panicking a little bit because their substitution's not quite gone to plan, and they have a bit more attack.
Yeah, definitely. It was, we had the spell after our goal, but then Switzerland, they've got the quality, they've got the players. And here, a small slip there, but he's offside. And fortunately for the team, the referee sees it and VAR for once has, come up trumps. But it's something for the boys to really acknowledge. And it's important that we stay tight, particularly within the box. But thankfully, it was given offside.
Took a few minutes though, didn't it, Mark? It felt like it took too long because, well, maybe through Welsh eyes.
Yeah, I hope they quicken that up as the tournament progresses because we were a little bit on our tenterhooks. But correct decision. But a couple of our guys obviously were looking at the flight of the ball and runners going off the back, so we've got to be mindful of that.
You talked about how well Wales defended their box in the first half, and possession obviously meant that they were going to have to do a lot of that. It was going to be a very busy day for the Welsh defence. Overall?
I think as I said, they defended the box. They won headers in the first half. What bothered me a little bit in the second half was Mbolo getting so much joy, and we didn't look as assured in our defending. He was getting a little bit of joy. We wasn't getting up to it. All of a sudden, we see the goal. I think that's something that probably we need to address before the Turkey game. Let's look at the first half and then let's look at the second half and let's show the boys the first half how strong they were. Anything that come in the box got rebounded straight out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Tactically, at this level, you want to affect the opposition. And maybe during the first half particularly, we had a low block where 100% Robert Page will have wanted us to be sitting in a mid-block, being able to engage them. And that gave them the momentum. So again, lots to learn from this game. But if we apply ourselves correctly moving forwards, we're going to do well.
And like we said at half-time, Gabby, I don't think we can't allow other teams to have that much good possession and put balls into our box because something can always happen. It can be a deflection, someone loses their man, a slip, whatever. We need to, in this next Turkey game, we need to control the ball, which we've got the players to do so. We need to control possession. We need to take the game to them and not always rely on Wardy making a save or, our defence heading balls out. Let's keep the ball a little bit higher up the pitch and let's put a bit of pressure on the opposition.
And it's interesting as well, with Breel Mbolo, he began to play free-flowing football. He was then their star man. We're going to have to learn from that because we're going to come up against teams with top players. Yeah. So can we really affect them?
Let's just head over to Baku because Robert Page, I believe, is waiting to chat to us. There you are, Rob. Congratulations. Well, it feels like congratulations, especially with that offside decision as well and the saves that Danny Ward had to make. On balance, what's your kind of a reaction to that?
Yeah, we wanted a positive start, and it feels like a win in the changing room. You know, I'm so proud of the players for that. They had to dig deep towards the end. We had a little bit of lady luck with the offside as well, but you know, that's the start we were after. We wanted a positive performance, and I certainly got that out of them.
We've just been talking about defensively, you know, a kind of an overarching defensive performance from Wales. And the first half, you know, there was some really positive defensive moments, and Wales were really having to defend their box well. As the game went on, it did feel like Switzerland were taking more control. They were playing a little bit more free-flowing football. What kind of tweaks, what are you going to do to address that against Turkey?
Yeah, well, it's a different opposition, and that's no disrespect to Turkey whatsoever, but we'll face a different opposition to what we faced today. We knew Switzerland were going to have a lot of the ball with how they played, so we had to be, you know, solid and well organised defensively, and I thought we'd done that first half, and we said at half-time, you know, we were doing the right things defensively. Shaqiri was causing us a few problems with the counter movement, where he was going in behind and the centre forward was dropping in, which we dealt with. Just unfortunately, the gap started to appear second half, and when you play teams like that, they exploit the gaps. You know, we become a little bit too stretched, and ultimately we've conceded from a set piece, and they're a big physical team as well. So, you know, we had to compete defensively, but like we always say, when opposition managers look at the team sheet and see what we've got as a threat, with the pace and quality we've got in our team as well, then it makes for an entertaining game.
And what about that threat and that quality and that pace? Because a lot of that came through Dan James, who was causing the Swiss trouble, wasn't he? He was instrumental in kind of getting the ball for the goal. So why was he taken off when he was? Because he didn't look totally happy with that decision.
No, he didn't, and it's for the good of the team. You know, there's 3 games in quick succession, and he looked dead on his feet, and that's because of the work he put in. You know, up to that moment. So. When you know you've got somebody the quality of David Brooks to come on and put Bale on the left and get crosses in from going down the outside for Kieffer to attack, then it's another option that we've got. So DJ was disappointed coming off, but he's great in there now, and it's all about the squad.
Absolutely, and the squad obviously today, you know, you said it was your best 11. This is the team you wanted to play because there was so much speculation about whether there'd be a false 9 or an out-and-out striker, and you went with that with Kieffer Moore. Tell us your thoughts on his performance, and obviously he got your equaliser. He's taken you, you know, a point away from the game.
Yeah, he's been terrific, international level and club level. He poses a threat, and not just because of his presence. You know, he's got a great touch. His link-up play is very good, and he's a willing runner. And when you've got all those attributes as a centre forward, it's a good recipe to have. So he thoroughly deserved his goal. And like I said, coming into the 2 friendlies before this, he didn't need minutes. He's played week in, week out in the Championship. So we had to protect him. We had to wrap him in cotton wool a little bit, along with some of the other players. And he's given us his rewards today.
How have the players found the conditions today? 30-degree heat, and at times the Wales players did look like that was getting to them. Conditions were getting to them. Was it a bit of a shock to the system for some of them?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Thankfully, I was stood on this side in the shade, so it was a little easier for me. But yeah, the players, of course, they're going to struggle with the heat. They're not used to playing in those conditions week in, week out, and we factor that into it. You know, like I said, the medical team and Strud's, the fitness coach, we had done everything we possibly could to take control of getting the temperature down at half-time and then just before they come back on the pitch. And thankfully, there was a bit more shade on the pitch second half.
The group starts to take shape, doesn't it, immediately after, you know, all the teams have played a match, and obviously with Italy's emphatic victory over Turkey last night, the team that you play next, looking ahead to that in 5 days' time, it's a huge game for Wales, isn't it? You don't want to be leaving, you know, kind of all your eggs in the Italy basket for the final match.
No, of course not. We watched the game all together last night, and Italy have got quality in abundance, haven't they? They're an exceptional team, and you know, and we'll respect Turkey for what they are as well. They've also got quality and you know, can hurt you and win games. So it's all about the focus now straight away. There's lads running on the pitch behind us ready and preparing ready for that game on Wednesday against Turkey, and it'll be a tough test, but like I said, you know, we're nice and positive after this today. The lads are in there. It feels like a win. It's a great start. I've just said to them, that's the foundations. If we have to dig a trench and put our tin hats on at times, we'll do it, and we've proved that we can do that as well as play.
Tin hats and bandages. Thank you very much, Rob Page. Well done on the start, the positive start. Look forward to speaking to you after Turkey, hopefully. And hopefully tomorrow morning
Cheers.
everybody will come through that. Fingers crossed everybody does their recovery and has an easy few days, I imagine. Is that the kind of, like, let's have a quick look at the table, actually. You see there, as I just said, obviously everybody's had a match now. Italy ahead, Switzerland and Wales on 1 point apiece, and Turkey at the moment yet to get off the mark. But they will be hoping to do that against Wales on Wednesday.
Yeah, you know, Robert Page, he'll be taking that away now. He'll be dissecting that as well as the game yesterday. And he'll be looking at how we can really begin to hurt them on Wednesday night, which is, you know, now a massive game when you look at the table. It's essential that we continue to put points on the board. And as you said, we do not want to be going into the final game of the group relying on a victory.
I mean, it would be a famous one, no doubt. But, yeah, get to that Italy game, having your job done is I'm sure, the aim. Well, let's hear some more reaction then from the Wales camp. Gareth Bale, captain, with Carl Roberts.
Gareth, how was that for you?
Yeah, obviously a hard game. I think both teams tried to play. Yeah, obviously an opening game, so it was a little bit tense. But yeah, I think it's not a bad result, a 1-1 draw, and yeah, we take the positives and we go on to the next.
Is that the best you could have hoped for on the opening game, do you think?
No, I think we wanted to win the game, of course. I think we had chances, but also so did they. So yeah, it was a tight, tense game. Both teams wanted to try and play and work hard for their teams, and yeah, like I said, a 1-1 draw is not a bad result.
I mean, tight and tense, you must feel like you had a real narrow escape there. Your heart must have been in your mouth at that point.
Yeah, no, I think you go 1-0 down and yeah, you can really crumble. But I think we showed a lot of character, a lot of grit, determination, like we always do. And yeah, we showed our class to keep playing and fight for the goal back. And yeah, it was good to get the equaliser.
They're your men. What did you think of their display overall today?
Pardon?
They're your men. What do you think of their display overall today?
Yeah, I think we worked hard. It was just difficult in this heat as well. As I said, we showed a lot of fight, determination, a lot of character to come back from 1-0 down, and yeah, I'm proud of the boys.
Enough to keep going? Does it give you the momentum to keep going?
Yeah, of course. I think you don't lose, so you keep going. I think we said after there, just we have to keep on working. We have to use this as a springboard now to the next game, and yeah, we'll just have to recover now and get ready for the next.
Very much. Thank you.
Well, that clearly wasn't Carl Roberts asking the questions there. Well, obviously, it goes without saying that because of COVID, we haven't got our regular people in place. So anybody can pop up, apparently. And we'll try and find out who all these people asking the questions are for you. You know, you sit here, your first game of a tournament, you want your team to get off to a winning start, but actually, you know, the kind of positivity it seems to be coming from Baku, from the camp, from Gareth, from Rob, that for them does feel like a winning start.
No, it's no drama. I think it's okay. We played a good team, you know. After the game, we're happy with a point. I think we're all happy with a point in here. Yeah. We now go to Turkey. We knew before we have to beat Turkey. You know, we want to win that game. That's the one we're aiming for. So we're off the mark. You know, we haven't lost the game. We didn't play as well as we can. Now we just recover. We go straight into the Turkey game, beat them, go to Italy, no fear, go and beat them as well, and go straight through.
Exactly.
I like this plan.